says off air. Oh, now we're on air.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah. All right, so welcome to what do I call this? Wargaming After Dark. That's right. When the lights go low, the gaming gets real. I don't know. Anyways, this is my first attempt at doing a live show, so yeah, whatever. I don't care. But I thought I would do something different. And I thought I would talk to, various YouTubers, members of the community that, I kind of like what they're doing. They might not be the most well-known channel or whatever, but they're doing something interesting, and whoever's watching this, might want to check out, what you're doing. So we're here with Billy, and he's from Golden State Gaming. So he's my very first guest. And Billy, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Paul. Thanks for letting me.
Do not call me Paul. I am. How dare you? You already fucked it up. No.
The whole thing's
Billy, why
ruined.
don't you tell us, because I'm a big fan of your channel, right? But maybe whoever is watching this, maybe they don't know who you are. So why don't you give us a brief description of your channel?
All right. Well, my channel started out as a vlog with me just kind of. You remember the first 6 episodes was just me bitching about stuff that other people in the community were doing. And it evolved from that. I kind of got around to realizing that's a little bit of a negative way to go around stuff. And so I kind of evolved the channel, and after talking with Evan Starr and a couple other people, I realized that I could be doing more. So what our channel's focus is now is, on top of gaming, board gaming, miniature gaming, party game, that kind of stuff, we're also focused on the local scene. Local conventions, local stores, local events, local game developers, local producers, local promoters. Yeah, pretty much I want our main focus to be not just Southern California, but all of California. So that's where our main focus is at right now.
Okay. And, yeah, I just finished your series on OrcCon. And, honestly, I did not realize that there was another gaming con besides Adepticon. Because that's all you fucking talk about on YouTube.
It's hard to believe that there's conventions in the local area that aren't 5 or 6 states away that are already sold out, but people are still promoting. It's hard to believe that there's local events that need promotion too and that need attendance. So that OrcCon was kind of accidental. That whole series of videos that we shot, me and Mark Don't Leave Me Alone, we accidentally did all that.
It was just impromptu, or you didn't talk to Mark about it, or you just started?
No, there was really no pre-planning except for a day or two before. I think I had texted him and said, "Hey, what are you doing at the convention? I got a hold of some camera equipment and some sound stuff. You want to help me just shoot footage and see what we get?"
Cool. And for those of you who haven't seen Billy's series, it's called Road to OrcCon. And let me just tell you what I really liked about it. What really stood out to me was that you weren't just highlighting, the vendors or the movers and shakers of the gaming industry, but one of the coolest interviews you did was just a mom with her kids at OrcCon, and I thought that was fascinating because it highlights the gamers. A lot of times we tend to focus on sort of like this hero worship on people with big names in the industry and stuff, and I thought it was really interesting that you picked people out of the crowd and gave the average gamer a face. What was the motivation behind all that?
The motivation behind that was me and Mark were dead tired. We had done our demos for the day. We had started shooting footage early in the morning. We had late the night before, and we were literally sitting in the lobby of the Hilton, not wanting to move. And I was like, we should be doing something. And then somebody walked by and said, "Hey, you guys got a camera? What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "We're interviewing you. Why don't you sit down and talk to us?" And then our segment we needed a name for it, and the guy was like, he suggested it. He's like, Convention Corner. I was like, yes, you can be the first interview, and you'll get credit for that, Mr. Guy with the sovereign chess. So that the whole genesis of that was I realized that number one, there's only so much footage you're going to get walking around a convention highlighting the big guys, and what's the point of that? You're not going to get. Why not see who the core is, the people that actually make the convention? The big name vendors, they spend money to go to the conventions, but they're just buying a booth. The attendees, if you don't have attendees, you don't have a convention. And why not highlight the kind of people that like to go to these events and maybe give the industry and the community a little bit of a hey, there is more than just the neckbeards that go. There's actual real people. There's families that go to these things. It's not just guys playing 40K and what's that other game with the cards?
Yeah, that other one.
That other one. There's more than that.
I heard somebody made custom cards for that.
Oh yeah. I heard some guy went out of his way to make some really nice cards for that game after it was a dead game. But,
no, but let me interrupt you for a second, man. I'll tell you why you only talk to the big guys at the cons, right? To get free shit, bro. You gotta get free shit. That's what it's about. Right?
I had thought about that, and I had actually talked to Evan Starr about why I wouldn't do that. Because we had been talking about getting swag and stuff from vendors and things. And number one, I've only done a couple of review videos. I know you're probably the only guy that watches all my stuff on a regular basis, but I've only done like a handful of reviews. But every single item I've reviewed is something I bought. I haven't gotten a discount on it. I haven't gotten it for free. I paid for it. And I never paid for it with the expectation that it was always going to be good.
Right.
But I paid for it with the expectation that, I'm going to look at this, I'm going to use it as a functional item and see how it works, and do a review. Because honestly, how do you see yourself doing a review on an item that you got for free? How are you going to do an honest review?
Or do like a review of something that you don't use.
Yeah. How do you do a review on something that you don't use? Or how are you going to review a book and just show us pictures of the book and say, oh, I like this one. This one's pretty. This one's even prettier. This is my favorite on this page. But not to actually tell me what the book cost, who carries the book, how you implement the theories in the book, how hard the techniques were. How are you going to not tell me any information about the book other than to show me the book? To the point where you're basically breaking copyright because you're showing me so much of the book content, you're not actually talking to me about the book. You're just showing it to me. And that's one of the things that I had told, Evan Starr, and we had these talks in private, and I was like, I'm not going to ask for free stuff. If I get free stuff, I'm not going to review it. You can't do a fair review that way.
Yeah, that's a good point, but let me clarify about this free stuff, because I mean, we know each other, and we've worked together on at the cons and stuff. And when we were volunteers for Weird, we would get free stuff. But I think the difference is, we would take those soul stones or whatever we earned, and we'd put it back into the community. I think that's a big difference. I think there's an alarming trend in YouTube where there's just people that are trying to cash in on their so-called fame and just collect and hoard free stuff from these companies, and I think it's a sham. And I think these people that do that with the full intention of not doing anything for the company. I think it's one thing if you're excited about a product, if you like a company or game, and you want to promote it, that's fine. That's one thing. But if you're just in a contest to get the most free shit, I think you're kind of a scumbag. You
Well, yeah, definitely.
fuck you, not you guys. Whoever's watching this, probably not you guys. All right, I'm not talking.
But
Don't get upset at me. All right,
no,
I'm not talking
that's
about
just
you
true.
guys.
Though, is there's this group of people out there, and they take advantage of what we do, and our job isn't to contact companies to get free stuff. Our job is to, if we want to, partner with companies. But for the most part, our job that we took upon ourselves that no one pays us to do is to bring this to the community and say, hey guys, here's what I got. Here's what I picked up. Here's how I feel about it. It's to educate the company because if I'm going to promote a game and I think the game is shit, I'm not that doesn't make me a good person. That doesn't help the community. I'm not gonna ever promote anything I don't believe in.
Right,
And you can't just keep absorbing all this free stuff because then you hurt the guy down the road that's coming in to honestly who wants to partner with the company to do what they agree to do for the company and that company's going to say no. They're going to be like, no, we've given a bunch of stuff to some other guys and they promised us videos. This recently happened to me when I was talking to Tor Gaming. I was talking to them about doing a series of picking up relics, and I didn't ask them for anything. I just asked them for number one. I always like to contact companies and let them know I'm going to review their product so that they can keep an eye out for the video if they like it.
uh-huh.
And I let them know too that if they like the video, that way they can kind of keep me in the loop next time something comes up. If they want to make an announcement or something, that I can kind of just get a little bit of an announcement and have a little bit of inside track, kind of help myself a little bit. But
Right.
they basically told me that they had dropped a lot of product on a group and they haven't gotten any videos, anything out of it. Their partners had dropped the ball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. I mean, if you if you're, for example, if you're a fan of relics and you do a bunch of relic videos and then the people at relics contact you and say, hey, we really like your stuff and thank you for promoting our product, here's some goodies. That's different than, hey, I am this big channel and all these people watch my videos and if I just mention your product, you're going to get some free advertising. That's really taking advantage of that company, because what they want, it's basically like if you're a NASCAR driver and you say, okay, well, Kellogg's, I'm going to put your logo on my car, and then you don't, you're breaking a contract, even though they probably don't have a contract in this industry. These companies are very small, and
And they're very trusting. They're
yep,
very, they have faith in us. Because of the OrcCon stuff, I actually got approached by a company local to us. I had no idea this company was in Costa Mesa. But they contacted me about doing some stuff for them, and now we're partnered. So I'm just waiting on them. They're going to get me games and stuff to demo and review, and it's free. But I don't. I already told them that I don't want to keep it. I just want to check it out of their library, and then I'm going to take it back to them. I don't want to keep anything. And they said that's fine, but we're going to give you an extra copy or two to give to the stores that you go to, so that they have demo copies available
yeah,
on hand.
and that's what you should be doing with. I mean, I think if that's the best thing to do with the swag that you get is you spread it out to people so that they get, for coming to a demo or something, they get something, and
Yeah, I
then
mean, going back to when me and you did we were henchmen and stuff, and I did my first big event. I didn't have that many soul stones to cash out, and one of the other henchmen had given me all their soul stones because they dropped out of the program because they didn't have time. But they gave me their soul stones to use for price support, and none of my price support came up in time. So I wound up dropping $150 of my own money for price support at the store.
so let me play devil's advocate for a second. Obviously, you just came back from Orcon, and you worked you ran Boss Monster and In Her Majesty's Name. Um, Explain to the average gamer why you put so much time and effort into promoting these games. Um, if it's not for free stuff, then what is it that drives you to keep doing this?
Even when we get free stuff from the companies, it still costs us money to go to these events. So it's not necessarily like that supplements any of our income or anything that we put out.
Right.
But I do it purely because I love meeting people. I love interacting with people. I love approaching people like, hey, you want to play this game with me? You're a gamer girl. You want to play this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know games. I know games. So I love, but I love that. I love.
What the fuck? All right, keep going. Sorry.
So I love going to a convention. And when I went to OrcCon, this was totally blew my mind away though. I went to OrcCon. I walked into the elevator. I got out on the first floor in the lobby, and I was out of maybe 5 steps, and like 5 people walked by. Hey Billy, what's going on? Hey Billy, what are you running this time? Hey Billy, what's up? People knew me, and at the time on my YouTube channel, I was never on camera. It was just my hands, and people were complaining about my cuticles, which you have the same problem.
Hey, my nails are beautiful.
But I was, it's not that I do it for the recognition, but the fact that people knew me through the community from the events that we've done together and that I've been to and that I've helped out, it meant something to me. It meant that I was doing something positive for the community, and that's what I do it for. I do these events and I do all this hard work and I bust my ass at conventions and store events because it feels good to know that these people that were maybe intimidated to get into this specific game are like, oh, this is easy. We can make this quick. Or the family that's walking by with their kids, they're like, oh, we can add this. We can have a family game night now. We kind of open up people's lives a little bit to this social interaction that goes on with us as gamers, as tabletop gamers, that they don't usually have. I mean, our lives are all in our phones now. We text message. We are on Skype. We don't do a lot of stuff that involves us being face to face and interacting. And if you're a computer gamer, all right, you're part of an MMO with 10,000 people, but how many of those people are you in the same room with?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Kind of the reason why I think that this form of gaming, this form of entertainment, is superior to video games is the social aspect, and it's the one aspect that I don't think enough people really talk about or appreciate. I just let me just segue into something here. There's a video out there. I don't want to mention the guy's name because it's pretty sensitive, and the guy actually went to a game store and he ran into kind of a douche, and he was really it was weird because he talked about how hurt he was after the game. This guy was just giving him a hard time and making fun of him. And
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So why I don't want to mention.
Yeah, no, he's a very good guy. He's a very sincere guy in the community.
Yeah. And oftentimes we forget that this is a social game, and a lot of apprehension to tabletop wargaming is because it's almost become synonymous as being hyper competitive and kind of douchebag. I don't know. I don't have a word for it. But
it's douchebaggery at its
douchebaggery. There we go. Yeah, that's a good word. Douchebaggery. So in your experience as someone who tries to get people into wargaming, have you ever ran into issues like that where someone's like, I like the idea of gaming on a tabletop, but from my experience or what I've heard is been negative about it
all the time. All the time. And it's always from the same. This is something, since I've been doing the Kickstarter interviews from a lot of people that are in the community, and I've been talking to more people at conventions, that I found is it's the same two groups that always get brought up, and it's always the large war skirmish or war.
No, you can. That's okay. On my channel, I have plenty. Everyone knows if you watch the channel that I cannot stand GW.
It's always the free K guys. It's
40K guys.
and
Yeah.
it's always the Magic guys. It's always, and this is actually something that my wife and I ran into when she, because I used to play Pokemon and I played Magic the Gathering. That's actually where my original gaming started, with that and Dungeons and Dragons. I used to do RPGs. Uh, but my wife would go with me to play Pokemon, but I would never take her with me to play Magic. And she asked me to take her one time, and I said, it's not a good idea. You're not going to want to go. You're not going to like it. No, no, I can play Pokemon. Those guys are cool. Take me to play this game. And I said, okay, let's go. And they were rude to her. They were condescending. They wouldn't. They were trying to curb stomp her, and I had made a really good deck. She was still new at it. She didn't really know how to play, but it was the first and last time that we went together, and it was the last time that I went to go play because it was such a bad experience for her to go, not only as a gamer, but as a woman, and as somebody that wanted to be a part of this community. And they were just like, oh, you're new, uh, you're new, and you're a girl, and you don't know how to play, so we're not going to let you in. And it's always those two communities that people talk about regularly. And I don't know if it's just a stereotype for those two because they're the most highlighted or the most prominent in the community, but they're the ones that people, when they tell me about a bad gaming experience or wargaming problems, it's always those two particular groups of people. And I think it's because they're made up of the same type of guys.
And what type of guys is that, Billy? Chodes.
The
Chodes.
it's what's the opposite of steroids?
You know what it is? It's a okay. I'll try. I'll attempt without. Okay, so we're painting with broad brushes here, people. Okay, but there's a
Oh yeah.
certain.
By no means am I trying to stereotype any particular.
Yeah, exactly.
These are just the ones that get highlighted to me when I ask people.
Right.
And this has been my own experience too.
There is a certain. I call it a bro factor. Like I play I recently got into War Machine, right? But I mean, it's really like when you look at War Machine, it's kind of the opposite of what I look for in gaming, as far as it's hyper competitive and it's all about stomping somebody's nuts in and everything like that. And those game companies, they want that competitive scene because they believe that the competitive player, and a lot of times, and I think in most cases they're right. The competitive player is going to be a guy that's going to buy a lot of product. So so the convention is, okay, if our community is very competitive, then it's going to equal more dollar sales. I don't know. What do you think about that theory that I just made up right now?
Well, I think yes and no. It's true. I think number one, you have this factor of, in the gaming community. I don't know about you guys. When I was younger, when I gamed, it was not out in the open like it is now. It was my thing that I did outside of school with friends that I used to have that weren't in the same area as I was, and I used to have to go out of my way to not game publicly. So a lot of these guys, gaming's the only thing that they've ever had. It's where they felt most accepted. It's where they were dominant. So when you bring an outside force in, like a woman or new players in that might be particularly good at the game or want to be into the game, it's kind of a territorial thing because you're stepping into new ground, and you're dealing with people that have never been the alpha male outside of this particular thing.
Okay.
And not to say that everybody's like that, but a large proportion of the guys that do this, and especially with these hyper competitive games that are apt to flip the table or get pissed off and walk away, they were never the alpha male in their respective circles or when they were growing up. So this is where they excelled. For me, that's what I see it as, and they're protecting that territory. They're protecting that particular interest, which is the only thing that they were ever really top dog at. And they put their captain's hat on, and they go for it, and they're going to protect it.
Okay. All right. So what you're saying is basically that the competitive gamer is kind of a loser in other circles? Is that what you're
No,
going with? Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily a loser, but a
Say
lot
it.
of
Say it, Vivian.
not a loser per se, but they were people that a lot of the guys, and I don't know how 100% this is, but yeah, for the most part they weren't losers, but they were just the awkward guys. The guy I know that when I played D&D, a lot of the guys that I played with were not people that I wanted to be seen with in public. They were cool guys when we were gaming, but in high school when you've got that drive to be cool and to kind of maintain that reputation that you had. Um, they
Yeah,
weren't people that I would openly socialize with. If I ran into them at a party or an event, I would say hi, how you doing, and then I would walk away.
dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I was not a good
Fucked
person.
up. Why would
But
you do that? You're my first guess, and
and I'm a bad
I'm
person.
already fucking pissed off. Because no, no, let me tell you. I don't know. I mean,
I think it's just well, I guess what I should have said is it's a territorial thing. Is you have a group of guys that want to protect something that they like to the point where they're willing to drive new people away from it.
okay.
And it's not necessarily their intent, but they're trying to protect it because it's their thing. It's their baby that they're going to have. They're the ones that bought into it. They buy every codex that comes out. They buy every version, no matter how much it ruins the game and makes the current version obsolete or how late the Kickstarter is on it. They're going to sit there and love the game and the company.
Right.
How about them PDFs, huh? But I mean, there's these guys out there that they bitch about GW constantly. In fact, when GW took that hit in the stock market and they lost a little bit of their percentage, they were celebrating. Some of the guys were talking about how they wanted to throw a party, and some of the main guys that are their main proponents for GW, the guys that want to make the videos for GW and how's how you play the game, they were making the same jokes. They were making the same jokes and the same remarks, and it was like, how as a productive member of the community, gonna bash a company that you encourage people to continue buying?
Yeah.
And
That's what I don't see. I guess a lot of people. For me, I draw a distinction. Like, for example, there could be someone who's really into GW, right,
yeah.
and loves everything they do, despite reality. Um, but I'm not mad at that dude. I'm not mad at that dude. It's the guy that
No, I'm not.
like you
I'm
said.
disappointed. I'm disappointed
Yeah.
in the guy that says, "Oh, just GW is an awful company. They're a bad company." But I have to spend the money because I've already invested in the game. No,
Yes,
no.
that dude. That
That,
dude.
that guy that makes excuses for why he continues to associate with a company he obviously has no interest in. He
Yeah.
complains about them being, immoral and taking advantage. The accusations go on and on, but I have to keep giving them money.
Oh,
Why?
there's a new codex. There's a new codex out there, and
There's a,
I have
there's a new
to.
codex, and none of us read it, but let's not talk about it.
we have to get the new code. Yeah, yeah, I know. Um,
That's that's
I will
that's
not.
kind of the
I can't
guy.
really comment on that because I don't understand that mentality either. I mean, it took me a while to leave GW, so I guess maybe I'll approach it in that fashion because I left a little bit after fifth edition,
Well, even the
and
guys that have left GW are still buying minis, and they still buy a codex every now and then because they're like, well, I have all these models, and I might want to use them one day. And it's like, well, use them for. I mean, I still have the rules set for 1.5 for Malifaux. If
yeah,
I want to play Malifaux 1.5, there's nothing that says I can't play the rule set I like.
that's right. I mean,
So why
it's
not just
worked for Pathfinder and
yeah?
Blood Bowl.
So why not just keep and play what you have? Why are you spending extra money? Why are you dropping $300 on a unit that's not even going to be half the points you need? That's that's the guy the power gamer, the offensive guy, the guy that's going to be angry. Maybe that's why they're angry. I think I just solved my question. I think we just figured out the mystery. It's all because they're shitting money in their own hands and they don't even realize it. Oh
No, I
God,
think
dude,
they
we
do realize it. I think they do.
we
Um,
solved the mystery of gaming.
nah, I really think that the competitive GW player, that buys all the codexes and stuff like that, um, they might talk a gang of shit about GW, but deep down inside, they,
They're
they
fanboys.
yeah, yeah, and that's okay. Just tell me you're a fanboy. Don't try to drink the anti GW Kool Aid if you're not really down with the movement, yo. What the
You know, and
fuck?
I mean, I've
So,
never. The only GW thing I ever really played was Lord of the Rings, the Mines of Moria set. I bought that
Jesus Christ.
because it was I bought that because I liked it and I like the models and stuff, and I'm actually converting some of them to Blood Bowl for my halfling team. But that was probably the only reason that I bought into that, and that's the only GW thing I ever really bought was the Mines of Moria set.
All right, well, I'm gonna admit to something then too. Um, I like Dreadfleet. No, I bought the game. I bought the game. I was like, you know what? GW is gonna, they're doing something which I think was right. They kind of went back to their roots with Dreadfleet. I'm being absolutely 100% serious on this. Okay, and I thought, wow, man, if Dreadfleet takes off, maybe they'll make these other like self-contained games. Maybe they'll go back to what they were when they were doing games like Talisman and Gorka Morka. You know what I mean? So I thought,
Oh
well,
yeah.
no. So I bought it, and it's not bad.
Have
It's
you
not a
have
bad
you
game.
painted it? Have you painted it up?
Yeah, yeah, I had a full set and everything. Um,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, I did a couple of Dreadfleet battle reports, but I've sold it since then, though. But um, it that company could have done something good. They had the captive audience. They had the opportunity to do something great, and instead they just sank all their time and effort into what I think is probably the shittiest game out there, which is Warhammer 40K.
And it's kind of weird the way they work on that game because it's like they'll leave a faction alone for a few years, and then all of a sudden they revamp the entire thing,
Right.
and you're just like, oh shit, now I got to start over again.
Well, I mean that's their
That's the
business
model,
model.
but it's
Yeah.
it's just so dumbfounding that's how it works, and people put up with it, and they're just like, oh, yeah, that's what makes the game good. I can't use anything I've owned for 5 years, but it makes it good.
Yeah, man. I mean, my favorite was the Codex Catachan because I love the idea of just buff guys that didn't know how to use a las cannon, and then that went away, and I was like, fuck this game. But enough about GW. We're supposed to. Okay, let's get back on topic.
Well, let's get back on topic.
Oh wait.
Um,
Do we have any questions? I don't even know.
Disc Wars.
How do I look to see if there's any questions?
I think you have to go to the YouTube feed and look that up.
How do I do
I
that?
think. You have to flip to the other screen,
Okay, I flip to the other screen, right? Then what?
and then you should look, or there should be a screen that tells you to look at comments, or you have to open comments or something.
What? Where? What? What? I
Dude, I
don't
don't
know.
know. I do this all pre-recorded, and then I upload it, and
Oh, wait. Wait, maybe I click on the. So I'm supposed to click on my own feed? Won't that like double in sound or something?
just just lower the volume on your end, and you should be fine on one of them.
All right. Uh, the hell?
What was the
Hey,
topic again?
if someone knows how to look at comments, post it in the comments. Oh, wait a second! I don't know how to get to the fucking comments. Shit. See what I'm doing? This is what we call live. Live. Oh, yeah. See, live right now. So I click this.
I think so.
All right, I'm clicking. Okay.
Oh, we were talking about Adepticon, yeah. So I was looking at a
The
vendors list
only
for it
con that ever existed ever.
outside
Awesome.
of anywhere. I was
Yes.
looking at the vendors list and realized there was no URLs or anything useful on that list for it. So I stopped looking.
Oh, here we go. We got a comment. Sorry about that, Fred. The free stuff just makes promoting what you like that much more enjoyable. Yes. If you what Fred, what we're talking about is people who are just in it for the free stuff. They don't care what the product is. There's a difference.
There's
Um,
actually a segment of the community out there that has made a game of collecting free stuff.
oh,
Um,
yeah. It's those guys are parasites.
that's what we're talking about. Believe it or not, I Boss Monster Brotherwise Games gave me a free shirt. They gave me a bunch of free shirts to give away at the convention, and they gave me one specifically for me, and I keep that just so that when I run the demos, it makes me more official as running the demos.
All right,
So
Fred. One more question for Fred. Do you use potted inks or washes, or do you make your own? And what do I use to thin? Okay, so let me show Fred.
is this a painting tutorial now?
Well, hey, man, he's watching. Somebody's actually watching the show. So I use this dirty ass thing of water, and it thins my paints down. Um, I do use pre-bought washes. I don't know about you, Billy. What do you use?
I actually just started using pre-bought washes, and I still don't use them very well. So I've been making my own with, on Tony's channel, the Painting Clinic with Dr. Faust,
Oh
where he
yeah,
just basically takes acrylic inks or paints and thins them out with the Future Floor polish. That is pretty much what I've been doing.
I see.
Because
Yeah.
I use that because it helps seal the model too at the same time, so it saves me a stapler later on. And I don't actually care if my models have or if they glossy or not, just because I don't look for crystal brushes. So yeah, since we're showing off our pot, this is what I use to thin my paints. It's a apple juice bottom container.
Yeah. Yeah. Just water's fine. Um, I mean,
Yeah,
you don't have to buy the paint there. I do have one though. Where's that?
I have some
Uh,
Vallejo thinner,
yeah.
but I'm hesitant to use it because I'm not really good at using it, and I'm afraid of over thinning my paint because I'm not very good with using like super thinned out paint like some of the guys are doing, where you're doing wet blending and stuff. Um, I recently tried wet blending and it went really well, but it took me like 22 coats to finish a model, which it's a good technique. I like it. I'm just not comfortable with it yet.
Yeah. I don't do much of the wet, or I don't know.
It's
Um.
not an easy technique to learn, especially when you're a shitty painter like me. Um, it's
Oh,
probably
pshah. I was actually gonna do an intro for you where it's gonna be like Billy Salazar, painting, painting extraordinaire, Blood Bowl genius. That's gonna be the intro.
just because the orcs do what I want, dude.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, we kind of went way off topic here, but um, basically, what I wanted to do was sort of highlight your channel, and I kind of, it was just one of the ones that stood out to me. So I did have some questions for you. One, I think you kind of answered it, but I think it deserves another gloss over. Why did you decide to change your format from like a personal channel to a more, you know, broader perspective of the hobby?
The reason. Well, I'll tell you the reason I started the channel to begin with, and then I'll go into that, and it'll kind of answer each other that way. But when I first started my channel, it was because of a Facebook feed where somebody was giving some. They were offering a tutorial video on something they had no experience doing,
Uh-huh.
and their answer to the question that was the feed that was going on that I had answered pretty concisely um, was, "I'm going to put up a tutorial about that." look for it next week. And I messaged them privately, and I was like, what experience have you got that makes you qualified to make a tutorial video on this particular topic? And I said, oh, I'm just going to watch the YouTube videos and I'm going to make a video based off that.
Oh, all right. Hang on, just right there. I know you have more to this answer, but
No, go ahead.
it is one of my pet peeves is um, people that try to pretend they're experts at something on YouTube, and then they just, they're just talking out of their ass, and they look it up or they regurgitate um, something off a forum and claim it as their own content. God, drives me up the fucking wall. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go
no, no,
on.
no. And it pissed me off too. And I was like, you can't do that, dude. You're not. The whole point of doing a tutorial is you're showing people your practical knowledge and application. You're showing them something you know how to do. And that same week, someone else had put a video up on that same Facebook page about their first basing video, even though they've never based a model in their lives. They've always used pre-made bases, and they did a tutorial video on making bases. And I had commented on that one, like, how do you make a video on something you just did yourself? That's you're doing such a disservice. And I told both these guys, you're doing such a disservice to the community, putting out information that you don't know about. You don't know what the pitfalls are. You don't know what techniques might be better or might be more helpful than what you're throwing out there. You don't know which techniques you're throwing out there and copying that are just wrong. You're not helping the community. And one of the responses from one of the guys was, well, if you're so mad about it, why don't you make your own YouTube channel then?
And
And
then
I said, okay, fine. I'm going to make a YouTube channel. I'm going to bitch about every single thing that you're doing, and I'm going to call it out because it's not helping anybody. Okay, guys, this is my big pet peeve too, and Paul had mentioned it, is if you're going to put yourself out there as an expert on something, be it painting, airbrushing, whatever, if you're going to go ahead and sell yourself as a pro and try and cash in on that, I don't care if it's through getting swag or if you're getting corporate partnerships or if you're getting monetization off your channel, you're a fraud because you're not doing it honestly. You're not doing it ethically. You're not doing it for the service of the community. You're doing it for greed. So I said, okay, so all my YouTube channel, all my videos, the first like 6 were just me angrily calling these guys out. I never once called anyone out by name, but I threw it out there. You're lying. You're fraud. You're not being honest with the community. You're not being honest with people. You're not being honest with yourself.
mm-hmm.
So I was doing that for a while, and then I realized, this isn't making my gaming experience any better. I'm mad about it. I'm angry. I'm gaming, and I'm thinking about things, and it's making me angry every time I'm doing it. And I don't want to be that guy that just has the angry rant videos all the time.
I love
So
angry rant videos.
I know they're the best, especially when I go on for like 30 minutes and I don't realize it, and then I'm like, I don't even know what I was talking about. But so I decided, I was thinking, it's not good for me to be that negative all the time and to let people get to me that don't know what they're doing, especially when they put themselves out there as experts. And it's not really helping anybody in the community. So I decided, I'm going to focus on the local scene. I'm going to focus on the local developers. I'm going to focus on Kickstarters that are local. All the Kickstarter interviews that I've done lately, they've been LA, San Diego, and up north in California. I'm going to start doing some of the other, just because I'm running out of people, I'm going to start interviewing people outside of the California area for now. But I really want to highlight the local scene because, you know what, there's a convention 5 or 6 states away. That convention sells out every year. Fuck that convention. We got conventions in our own backyard that are growing every year that aren't
Yeah.
getting plugged, they're not getting attention, they're not getting noticed because they're not big. They don't have a Crystal Brush Award, or they don't have backing from some airbrush company, or they don't have a handful of YouTube personalities showing up to shoot videos of not gaming at a gaming convention.
Ugh,
I mean, me and Mark, when
good
we shoot a
times.
video, Mark even said, you know what, let's shoot everything we can in the gaming rooms. And, we did stuff in the hallways, and we walked around and just shot some random video. But we tried to focus as much as we could, not just on the gaming, but on the people that are gaming there. And that's what ultimately highlighted the change, was it's more fun to interact with people, to highlight the games that we all like, and the stuff that we're all passionate about, and showing people, you know what, you don't have to be on YouTube just talking about the convention that 1,000 other people are going to. I'm going to talk about the convention that 1,200 people are going to, 500 people are going to, a couple hundred people are going to, because that convention in a couple of years is going to be huge. And I want to look back one day and be like, you know what, I remember that convention when it had 200 people. That was a good convention. It's shit now because there's all these YouTube personalities running around shooting video of each other, not gaming.
Right.
I mean, you saw some of the videos from Gen Con last year that some of these guys put out where
My
these guys are
favorite,
all...
my personal favorite, bad favorite one was there was a video of YouTubers filming other YouTubers filming other YouTubers. And
And they
instead of
spent 10
being
minutes on that.
yeah, instead of being at the convention, they were outside the convention and they called it a Gen Con video and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and it's like,
It's like, bro, like what game is that, bro? I can't tell from there. Is that like Infinity or what? I just felt like saying that. Hmm.
yeah, and it was weird because it's like, it's what's the point of number one, you're gonna lug camera equipment. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have one camera, a boom mic or a shotgun mic, and tripod and stuff. That's not a lot of stuff, but the way that we carry it, it's stuff that you have to carry that's non-essential to gaming. So why would you commit yourself to carry extra crap that you're not going to utilize to make a video of gaming?
Yeah, well,
It's not that foreign a concept.
yeah, it isn't. I mean, okay, to be fair, okay, 'cause I don't want people watching this thinking, we're just bitching. I mean, that's what we're doing, but
No, no, you asked me a
I
question,
want,
and
yeah. No, I want to be fair about this because I think there are a lot of the majority of YouTubers are pretty much um, just guys that are sharing their hobby, their enthusiasm for the game. I would think that's the major. I would say the majority of the channels are that, which is awesome. Um, the problem is it's so hard to find um, these guys out there, that are just, they're either talented painters or they're, really into the game so they can explain some of the ins and outs because of these bigger channels that just swamp us with
with crap.
garbage material.
Yeah, I mean, I love finding a YouTube channel. That's actually one of my favorite things is finding a channel where the guy is talking, not necessarily doing anything specific, but he's talking to us about what he's doing and why he's passionate about it, and it's like, holy crap, I want to play that game. I want to play the thing he's doing.
Right. And so I just want everyone out there not to get the wrong impression, but
Oh, they've already got it, dude. That impression's been there for weeks.
yo, dog, I heard you guys like YouTube. I do like YouTubers. It's just different. All right. Let me just settle this, okay? Um, here's what I think the difference is, okay? Um, for example, there are wargamers that just happen to have a YouTube channel, right? And then you have YouTubers that just happen to have a wargaming channel. You understand? There's a big difference between a YouTuber that's just that sort of puts on the hat of a gamer or the face of a gamer rather than a gamer who just
Well,
happens to talk about his stuff on
I'll do
YouTube.
you one better. I'll do you one better. There are gamers out there that will go to store events and they game, and there's gamers that go to their house and they game, and they buy product and they do stuff. And then there's the gamers that will only go to a big convention that's got notoriety behind it, and they will make sure everyone knows that they go to that event, and they will try and talk up that event as much as they can, as unnecessarily as they can.
Right.
Whereas when we go to an event, I mean, we go to many conventions, and they're not just gaming conventions. We go to all kinds of shit. But
Right.
we go to conventions, and we don't do videos 90 days out about going to these events.
Oh, I did. I was like, Road to WonderCon? Hell yeah. I'm
Well,
actually
I mean,
excited about WonderCon. I mean,
we're not trying to milk what we can out of it, and we're not trying to say, oh, we're in the community, we're a voice of the community, but we only go to this one event.
right. At least, and I don't know if everybody. Oh wait, here's play it painted octane. I hate it when some channels plagiarize smaller channels. That's some serious bullshit. You missed the conversation. We already covered that, man.
That was 5 minutes ago, dude. Start over.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why we turned this into this massive like I don't know. What is this? A
It's,
community
it's
rant?
because it's because when you start opening that door of people doing stupid things and you start commenting on it, you kind of open it up to, you know what else that happens that I hate.
Yeah. The
But
thing is, okay. I swear to you guys, man. I'm not a nasty person. Okay, I'm not. But there's there's just maybe all right. Let me see if I can explain this. I started YouTube. I'm like one of the old crotchety guys from YouTube. Maybe that makes more sense. I started it when guys were just doing stuff just to do it.
are you
And
talking about dial-up days?
I'm talking about yeah, like when I started YouTube, there were guys like one of the best videos. Let's talk about some good content, right? So when I first started, what got me into YouTube is I watched this guy Nataku, right? And he did a whole video series where he broke down. Back then, I was into 40K, and he broke down the Tau Codex section by section, and you could tell it wasn't just spitting out shit he had read from one of the forums. It's like, I tried out this configuration, this worked for me, and I thought that was really cool, and I decided, I wanted to do that, and people were doing battle reports just to do battle reports. They weren't trying to use it as some sort of vehicle for internet fame. I don't know. Does that make me sound old? I guess.
A little bit, yeah. Well, let me tell you about some of the channels that I follow, and I follow the Dice Tower with Tom Vassell and those guys.
Uh-huh.
They actually inspired me when I changed the format, and I was talking to people how to change it, and I had talked to Evan Starr and my wife and Katie, who now does the videos with me. We actually decided to emulate their format a little bit with a little bit of gameplay and stuff. I follow so I follow the Dice Tower just because I really enjoy their videos, and they cover a ton of games that I wouldn't even imagine being able to get a hold of. I follow I follow Geek and Sundry a little bit, even though I have that thing against Will Wheaton. So I follow the Geek and Sundry stuff. I follow the Beast of War just because those guys have created a living out of what I love,
Right.
and some of their content. I mean, when they did a series. I don't know if you saw it a couple weeks ago where they were doing a large 40K table, but they did the modular terrain and they used carpet washes, like welcome mats, different textured welcome mats, to make plowed fields, to make fresh cornfields. They
Yeah.
used a roll of sandpaper from a belt sander. They painted it black, and that was their road for their thing. And they made hedges. They took that thick yellow welcome mat stuff, the big stuff that's like it's almost like hay. They sliced that up into thin sections, and they made hedges out of that. They painted it green, and they decorated it, and they literally put like 4 tables worth of 40K terrain in a box, in a bin, and that stuff was ready to make a couple different tables, and it was so modular, and you could configure your terrain any way you wanted.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, in Beast of War is one of the big channels that I actually like because they do highlight games like Carnival. I
Yeah,
remember they dedicated a whole week to that. Um, they
they're
actually
actually their
they
series
actually
on
did
Infinity right
relics.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've
and
always done Infinity,
their
but
series of
yeah,
Infinity right now it actually makes me want to play that game a little bit.
don't play
But
that game.
I follow Heritage and you, but that guy just bitches a lot nowadays.
Dude,
uh,
I try no, I keep it. I try to keep things positive.
no,
I
actually,
pretty much.
I your battle reports are kind of are super entertaining, and they're super like when I miss a weekend with you guys gaming and you guys throw up the Blood Bowl stuff, that's the first thing I watch.
Oh, aw, thank you. Wait a
The
second.
Oz.
Here's a Steam Power TV and
What's up, Tin Man?
uh, Tin Man. What's up? I announced my participation about SoCal SmackDown, but I was trying to help get the word out. That's right, Tin Man. You are legit. You don't have to prove yourself to us. We know that you're legit. You're legit. Here's like a
No,
fist
and
bump. Where's my goddamn
yeah,
camera? I don't even. There you
Steam
go.
Power TV is one of those channels that I watch too. Have you ever heard of Dream Spirit Weaver or Dream Spirit War?
No.
Yeah, they're a production house. They make wargaming terrain. They actually make custom tables and stuff. They do some amazing work, and he's got a lot of good tutorials on making cheap terrain, but making it look good. He's one
Cool.
of the guys
No.
I follow.
Awesome. So yeah, let's try to be more positive. Highlight
I'm
the channels we do like. I do like Steam Power TV. I watch
that's
Dice
yeah
Rage live as much as possible.
yeah.
Um,
The host on that show though, man, that guy. No, I'm just giving you shit, Tin Man. I want to work with you. Call me.
Dude, I'm hoping that Tin Man extends his invitation up at Anime Bakersfield because my daughter's a big anime fan and I'm an anime fan, so um, I do play some War Machine Tin Man. So if you need some help, let me know. Um, Old crotchety YouTuber right here, first episode in 2007. Hell yeah, Tin Man. Hell to the yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I watched the painting clinic too. That's the other one with Tony's channel.
yeah. My,
I've actually learned a lot from Tony.
One of my favorite big channels, I'm going to tell you a real quick story here, is General Splatten. Um, he's a really decent, good guy. A long time ago, I was hit with a bad bout of sciatica, and I couldn't paint or anything. And he heard
Oh,
about
that's
it,
when.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and he gave me a call, and like I thought that was really cool. Like he was really concerned. He wanted to recommend a doctor for me,
Oh, that's
I
awesome,
was
dude.
like,
I mean,
man,
you're on the
yeah.
Viagra now for that, right?
Ho ho, Billy.
I'm gonna throw this out there too, just so that people, with my
Yeah, don't
rants and
think
stuff.
we're being absolute dicks. We're not.
Some somebody had seen my channel because I had commented on another YouTube's review video about how the review video wasn't a review. It was just them showing us pictures, and this person had made it known that I had a channel and kind of spread the word a little bit. Like I went from like 400 views to like 600 views in the course of 2 days on my videos. And one of the guys had talked to me privately. He had defriended me on Facebook. He was pretty upset with me, and he told me he's like, I saw your channel, and some of the stuff that you talk about is stuff that I do, and you're kind of attacking me.
Well,
And I had two ways to go about that. I had
uh-huh.
two ways to handle that situation. I could have been an asshole and just be like, well, stop doing that shit. That's pissing me off. And that's how
I
we
like
solve
that
that
one.
problem.
Okay.
But as a member of the community and a member of the local scene, I had to be more diplomatic and I like the guy. I like him as a person. I don't like the fact that he does the things that piss me off on YouTube, and I don't like the fact that his end game is to make as much as he can off of YouTube. And this it's not a lie. It's basically something that he's copped to on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
But I like him as a person, and I don't
Wait, wait,
hate
wait.
people.
Why? Explain to me.
I like
Explain,
all
Lucy.
I like all
Why?
the people. Well, number one, I don't like to. I can be blunt and I can be rude and curt with people, but I don't generally ever do anything out of meanness, out of spite. And I like a lot of people. I like a lot of people that a lot of other people don't like. So, and I defend a lot of people who do shitty things or have kind of shitty personalities. And it's not, it's just because I understand that, I used to be a shitty person. And I know that a lot of times they don't do things to be malicious. They just don't know any better. So I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt up to a point. So I can forgive a lot of stuff. So when I bitch about these guys that do these YouTube videos and these guys that are in the community that are basically just out for themselves, yeah, I hate that they do that, but I don't necessarily hate them as people.
I
There are some guys out there that I do genuinely dislike, and when they approach people, and I know that now that I've got a gamer girl on my channel, um, and I told her don't answer emails from certain ethnic guys that have a certain look about them, and say, hey, I get your plane ticket. You want to get married? I said don't answer that email because that guy's not a good person. So I don't, it's not that I dislike these guys as people. We're all in this for our own reasons, our own specific reasons,
right.
and
Okay.
but I dislike what they do as a practice.
Well, that's a very adult answer. I appreciate that. However, you know, I would just say fuck those guys and the horse that they rode in on, and that's my answer. No.
Well, Katie, because I started doing my demo videos with Katie for two reasons. My wife is out of town right now; she's with her folks, so I have nobody to do demo game with, or work out a game demo, or do anything with as far as getting into new games. And I realized another thing is that there's a lot of gamer girls in the community that are afraid to just be seen playing games. There's a lot of gamer girls in there that aren't afraid to cash in on gaming,
Right.
especially the video game aspect of it in the booth babes. They're not afraid to cash in on their womanhood, just as, oh look, I can stand here and not really do anything with the gaming. And then there's that segment of girl that will play games. They'll hang out. They'll tell dirty jokes. They'll fart. They'll do all the stuff that we do. But they're afraid to be seen doing any of that stuff because they don't think people are going to take them seriously. And those people, those kinds of girls, the everyday nerd girl kind of aspect, they deserve to be highlighted. They deserve to get that spotlight. That all these other girls cash in on, where they just want to dress up and, oh look, I'm doing cosplay now for this game and they're paying me to do this stuff. Where they're cashing in on it monetarily, and that's for their whole career is I'm a professional cosplayer and I do this game. And there's other girls that generally have passion for the games that they play, and they're not playing video games. They're playing card games and board games and doing stuff in the community, and they're active. So
Yeah, I think that's a pretty that's a good point. I do watch a lot of video game personality, let's play guys on YouTube, and I do notice that there are some guys where it's more about them, and more to your point, there's some girls where it's just more of showcasing them instead of the game that they're playing. Um, then and then there's guys that have a more puristic sense where they're trying to actually showcase the game, and I think that's a good I don't know, a comparison of what we're talking about. If people are confused and they're like, why are these guys so angry? It's not that we're angry. I guess it's that same sort of thing where we're just, you know, I don't know. Are we purists? Someone answer this question out on YouTube.
I wouldn't necessarily call myself a purist. I just, what it is I have a certain standard that I do things by, and I think it might be unfair, but I hold other people to that same standard. And if I'm going to do game demos for a company, I'm going to partner with a company, and I'm just going to give them back their product that they give me. It's not that I necessarily expect everyone to do that, because for some aspect we volunteer for companies because there is that reward system, that give and take.
Right.
But when we're using that stuff for price support, or we're giving it to stores to use this product in store, I kind of expect you to do the same thing. I don't expect for everyone to do that, but when you're emailing companies saying, oh, I have this YouTube channel and I have so many viewers, can you send me some KR cases that I can show one time for my elf army that I never use, and do my and use my hi, I'm cute and I'm a pretty gamer girl and this is the video I'm gonna make and I'm gonna put, oh look, I can stack up the boxes you sent me and do silly things behind them. You're not doing anybody any favors, and I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't do cheesy gimmicky skits and stuff for my videos. I don't plan to. I,
What
I,
about
I
okay?
you
What
know
about
I
the aspect of, someone might say, hey, these game companies, why aren't they watching before they endorse somebody? Why aren't they watching to see if this person's an actual fan? You know, I mean, what's weird to me is that with all the volunteer programs that they've launched, a lot of these game companies, they know that they have this is their best form of advertising. Us, we're the ground force. We go out there, we demo the games, we showcase the games, you know, um, because let's be honest, most game companies or all game companies cannot afford, advertising. So we become their form of advertising. So is there any responsibility on their end when they look at a prospective person that they want to back, that they should at least, you know that that person is a fan of their game or not, Is
you know
there any
I
onus on them?
I think there is, and like I had mentioned before that I talked to Tor Gaming about relics. And I think they had learned their lesson where they were expecting a certain return on the investment that they made by partnering with the group, and they got no return on it. And I think they learned from that, and I think that's one of the things that the game companies need to start taking stock in, because there are so many YouTube channels, but I think they feel that YouTube gets such a large. I mean, you can get an audience worldwide with what we do with this format. This is probably the number one
Well,
way to get a worldwide audience, and it's worth
I
taking the
can.
risk to give them. Well, I mean, I think it's worth it for them to take and give away $30 worth of product a couple times and hope that they get that return back, because putting out a couple, 30 bucks here, 40 bucks there worth of product versus them spending a couple $100, even $1,000 on an advertising stint is it's the cost is negligible,
Right, but if at the at to the same point though, if that person never does a video for them, then they might be out $30 or whatever. But I mean, how many times are they going to let that happen?
Yeah, and I think that different companies have a different approach to that. Like I know for a long
Yeah,
time Weird
let's get back to
was
you specifically because you have gotten some pretty, especially for like Orcon, you got amazing price support in a very short amount of time without actually being internet famous. How did you do that? I'm
well,
being
you know what?
semi-serious in that question. I mean,
No. It's a legitimate question. A couple people have asked me that. What I did was number one, Orcon does this great thing where they put the vendor list up. Not only do you get a vendor list, you get the URL links to it. And I emailed the companies and I said, hey, I'm running a tournament at this convention. You're going to be at this convention as a vendor. I am willing to, advertise for you and to say, hey, this company provided price support. Would you be willing to help me out and provide something for the price pool? Some of them said no because the game that you're doing really isn't what we're about. And some other companies, who makes the tokens, the laser cut, the acrylic tokens?
you talking about Anaya?
No, not Anaya. He's at all the conventions. Anyway, he made markers. He makes the blood markers and all that stuff, the acrylic ones. And I feel
Oh,
like because I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But anyway,
yeah.
he had partnered with me, and he's like, look, I don't really understand how you're going to use these markers for your game, but here's what I'll do. I will give you, I think he gave me 75% off anything I wanted at the booth. So I went and I took a bunch of his business cards and I handed those out during the convention or during the tournament that I ran. And I did the same thing. Monster provided me with a huge prize of $25 gift card. Um, and they had a buy one get one free, so somebody could have gotten two games for free if they'd have spent the money right. So what I did is I made sure that before the event, when we were getting everybody situated, everyone knew who the vendors were that supported us. Um, same thing with Comic Quest. Comic Quest wasn't a physical presence at the convention, but they provided me with coupons and they provided me with a gift certificate. So I made sure that everyone knew who the vendors were that provided price support and everything. And at the end, when we were done, I made sure I reiterated that throughout, that we were thanking the vendors. But I emailed these guys. I emailed them and I said, "This is what I'm doing. Would you, how do you feel about participating in this, or is this something you're interested in supporting?" And if you approach people the right way in our community, they're all about supporting an event like that.
And
So
that,
email, guys.
ladies and gentlemen, is the difference between what we're talking about. I hope that people understand that you know when you talk to these companies, it's because you are running an event and you would like to give out their product to help spread the word about their you know whatever game they have, and I think that people need to understand that difference. And I'm not sure if we're communicating it properly, but I think
Well,
it is an awesome thing to be able to approach a company, like if there's a game that you like, to be able to approach them and say, look, I want to get more people into your game, because ultimately it does help you out as a person, because now when your community is bigger in whatever game that you're interested in, then you know there's there's more people to play, there's more events, there's what I mean, there is a gain at the end of doing all this, and there is a reason, a bigger reason than just getting free stuff. um,
well, okay. Like, let me highlight this for you. Boss Monster, the tournament that I ran, I contacted the company, and I've always had good communication. Since that Kickstarter ended, I've always had a good communication with that company. I was one of the bigger fanboys, I think, that was always like, "What can I do for you guys?" And I was emailing them all the time. I think I
mhm.
was like the sixth guy on their forums when they had the old forums up. But I have always maintained a good communication with them, and they provided me with a killer amount of price support. On top of everything else that I collected on my own, they provided me with a huge amount of price support. With product, they provided me with limited edition cards to hand out during the convention that I was raffling off. They
Uh-huh.
provided me with the new booster pack that they have for the game. They provided me with T-shirts to give away. They provided me with different things, with a bunch of little things to give away. And you know how much of that stuff I kept for myself at the end?
All of it.
One T-shirt. I kept one T-shirt that they sent specifically for me in my size, ladies small. But I kept one T-shirt, and that's just so that I could have, and I wore it during my demos, and I wore it during my tournament. Because the product that you wear, that T-shirt, I only kept it because it gives you a little bit more authority, a little bit more legitimacy when you're doing an event.
Yeah.
But that was the only
And
thing I kept, was the one
and
T-shirt.
it also it accentuates your curves because it's a medium,
It
right?
is, and it's form fitting, and it's low cut, so the bosoms are highlighted if you get the right lighting. But no, I mean, I wasn't hoping to get a ton of swag from them. They sent me way more than I anticipated, but the whole point was to give that away, and I had to actually work to figure out ways to give away all of it. So I kept a shirt that they had for me. That was what I took as my compensation for running the events. Was one shirt that I can continue using for events, and that's good to have that kind of communication. I mean, I do stuff for Looney Labs all the time. I do Flux demos, and I have a great. I think the key is, if you're going to do this, guys, and you want to maintain a good relationship with these companies, is number one, when I do an event for Looney Labs or Boss Monster or in Her Majesty's Name with Osprey, I've been emailing them on and off periodically. Um, Number one, don't just talk about it. Show them the before and after photos. Always take pictures. Document what you're doing. Have proof. Um,
Oh,
because
definitely.
this gives the company, number one, when I do an event for Flux, I send them pictures. And actually, Andrew Looney remembered me from all the emails I was sending them last year from the stuff I did at Comic-Con for them, which literally was me just putting stuff out on a table and letting people just go because they're so familiar with the games. But I went and I emailed him. He remembered me from the emails and stuff, and I interviewed him at OrcCon. And he knew who I was because of my communication with them. And I'm not saying email them every day and bombard them with stuff and, hey, I have questions and stuff, but communicate with them. Let them know when you're going to run an event. Let them know after your event and send them an after-action report. You don't have to send them a video, but I always upload a couple pictures, and I always upload a summary of how many people attended and what I did and where it was. And this actually encourages those companies who might not be as willing to give you free product to support you and provide price support and help you do your events and give you advice for making your events better. You know, the contact I have for Looney Labs, they actually help me communicate with a couple of the other conventions because she, as soon as I tell her I need that legitimacy, that official stamp of, yeah, he does stuff for us, she does it right away because she knows me and I've talked to them on the phone and I talk to them online and I have that legitimacy. So it's getting price support is not that big a deal for me anymore. I feel more comfortable about approaching vendors and stuff at events too.
We'll kick down some swag, yo. I needs to get some free stuff. No, no. On a serious note, yeah, I think what you're doing is amazing, and what was surprising to me is that you haven't really highlighted the fact that, you know, doing these events are costly, and you know, it's you know, it's one thing that you do get price support, you do get help from, you know, the companies that you're demoing or throwing a tournament for their game, but you know, you're not making money doing this. You can't make a living doing this because, you know, there's other expenses to
Oh,
going to
there
cons.
is. I mean, I live in Orange County, and with the exception, I think, of two conventions, they're all in LA and San Diego. So, and you live further than I do. You live in the north. You live in
I live.
BIP.
Don't tell people where I live. All right, I got lots of enemies on YouTube.
You live further than I do. Let's put it that way. Even in LA, you're far from stuff. It takes you about an hour to get to Chatsworth, right?
Look, I said, don't be telling them where I live, man.
But
What's
I mean,
wrong with you? No, but yeah, I do.
I think you commute more than any of us out of any of the guys. I think when it comes to commuting, you make the biggest trips.
Yeah, like especially during the SoCal Malifaux days, it was like, you know, San Diego, LA, you know, San Bernardino, pretty much anywhere to help. I mean, because that's how much we wanted to build a community for the game that we liked, you know, and
Yeah,
that
I mean,
was
yeah, and we get okay. You know, I collect price support, but it doesn't cover gas to get there, and gas is hell
right.
of expensive. I drive an SUV, and I get 13 miles to the gallon, I think.
Killing the environment.
Killing the environment 1 mile at a time. Um, you know, unless this con is big enough to have a hospitality suite, we're not getting fed. I think there's only two big conventions we go to where there's a hospitality suite, and it's a hell of a walk to get to from
Oh
where
yeah,
we are.
that's absolutely right.
So the hospitality suite's a bitch to get to, and all they usually have is chips and soda. Maybe you'll find a fruit salad thing that someone's picked through already. And so it doesn't cover food, it doesn't cover that. And if you do have to supplement your price support, you've got to supplement it. You know, you can't just show up to an event empty-handed.
Right.
So, and I did wind up buying a copy of Boss Monster to give away as a prize for that event too. So that cost me $28 on top of gas, and then that doesn't count lodging. If we're staying in an area that's a pain in the ass to drive back and forth to, you know, that doesn't cover our hotel fees.
So what would you tell someone that, you know, wants to follow in your suit, you know, and start promoting games that they like? Um, you know, what's the best advice you could give to?
Uh, the best advice I would give is don't do it. Just stay playing at home. No. If you're gonna do it, number one, and make sure your wife is understanding. I have a wife and 3 sons. They're all under 7. So getting away for these weekends is not always easy for me, but she understands it. So make sure you have an understanding spouse and make up for it later on. Um,
Right.
Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Because if you're going into this trying to be YouTube famous, or you're trying to make this your living. I mean, Evan Starr does this way more than I think anybody else that I know, and there's no way he's making a living off this. And
Right.
he puts his heart into these demos that he does and these events. You're not gonna make a living off this, guys.
Dude, you've
You're not
been
gonna get
plugging
rich.
Evan Starr this whole time. What's up with that? No,
He
just
does,
playing.
he doesn't watch. He's actually in the back. Um, but no, I mean, you're not gonna get rich. You're not gonna be famous. And you know what? A lot of times you're not gonna get thanked. You're gonna go to an event. You're gonna talk to the event organizer. They're gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing? Your table's over there." And that's it. They may not even have the right size table for you, the right amount of space. And if you're new doing this, that's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get any favors. You're not gonna get anything new. You're not gonna get a bigger space. I'm fortunate enough with OrcCon where I have enough clout now where if I don't like the space I'm at, I can be like, no, I want that table over there, not this one you
Thank
gave me. This
you
one's
out.
stupid. Yeah,
Clouds. You got
clout. Look at
clouds.
that. My English is better. But no, I mean, I can make those requests now when I get to the Strategicon events. I can be like, I don't like this area. I want a better table, and they'll do that for me. But you're not going to get a whole lot of, and especially from the community. I mean, we've gotten into arguments with press gangers because they're assholes. Not all of the press gangers. I have a lot of press gangers I like, but there's a couple that will approach you to be dicks, and there's other demo guys that will approach you to be assholes. So they'll be like, why are you demoing this game? This game's stupid. This game's dumb. Why do you like this game? And they're gonna, for no reason other than to just be jerks about it, they're gonna challenge you. So you may not have fun, and working conventions is hard work.
It is. I think the anime expo, like, I almost keeled over and died. Um,
Yeah, you guys were
but
busting your butts last year, and we were just there for like 1 or 2 days of it to help you out.
but I will say this: the what's satisfying to me is, you know, building something around a game that I enjoy is part of the reason why I personally would persevere through all of that stuff. You know, um, the cons itself are, you won't get to see the con for
For
the
the
most
most
part.
part, you're not. You're
Yeah.
gonna be doing your area, and especially when you get to a place like Larceny Con where you can't leave your table because things will vanish.
Yeah. Lord. Yeah. No,
But
but it is to the people
you gotta
that
love it.
complain, going back to the very beginning when we were complaining about the 40K community, about how they're bitching because one of the things that they do say, and most oftenly, is like, well, I would totally back another game, but there's no community for it. And that's when I like to call BS. If you like a game and you want to build a community for it, then you need to go out and do it. No one's going to do it for you, you know. And if someone is doing it for you, you better like support them. Go to their events and do what you can. Spread the word about them. I mean, Tin Man, I don't know if he's still watching, but he's a press ganger, and he
I wasn't
knows.
talking about Tin Man.
Oh yeah, we already had the disclaimer. Whoever's watching the show, you're cool with us. The people that we're talking about will never watch this show. They will never know what this is about. But no, but you understand that.
No, and I think one of the reasons I like working conventions is I've been attending cons since the '90s. You know, I met William Shatner up in LA when I was 8. He made me cry, but I met him when I was 8 up at a Star Trek convention. So I've been doing this stuff since, well, probably before the '90s. Since '88 is when I started like I went to a convention, and then I started going on my own regularly in the '90s, in the late '90s. So I'm a long time convention attendee. So I already know, as just from being an attendee, what to expect at an event. But working an event and attending an event are not the same thing. That's a huge difference in the spectrum and stuff.
Right.
And making sure that you're okay with not seeing your panels that you wanted to see or missing them because you got stuck doing a demo that ran long. Make sure you're passionate about the game and make sure that you're having a good time. If you find that you're doing this and you're presenting a game and you're not enjoying the demos, neither is the person you're demoing.
Right.
You know,
And
and
what I was saying was more to the person that complains that there isn't a community, that you should, you know, if you find a game that you liked and there's no community, I mean, we've done it where we took a game that was in the corner of the back corner of the game store and nobody was playing it, to the point where every weekend at a different store there was an event. So it is possible to topple the big GW beast. You know, that's all I'm saying. Um, yes, it takes work, and yes, you have to put some effort into it. But I think at the end of the day, you'll find that you're gonna build a much more happier community. You'll have a much more happier game life. Your hobby life will be better if you are playing and supporting a game that you truly enjoy, not just one that you kind of just have to put up with because that's what everybody else plays. And I don't know if that was
and
lost on anyone, but
don't think that you're going to get into this and not spend any money, guys. You are going to be putting out your own money. You are going to be building your own terrain. You are going to be buying your minis. You are going to be paying for gas. You are going to be paying for a hotel. You're going to be paying for. You're not going to get away with this by just staying in your. You can't run a community and try and call yourself the leader of a community if you never leave the one store you go to. You can't. You just can't. It's not feasible. I would love if I could just stay at Comic Quest and never leave Comic Quest and just do what I do. I'd be happy. I'd be happy, but that's not how you build a community. That's not how you start outreach. And I think when you guys started going to conventions that weren't gaming related is where we've had our biggest successes in doing game demos and game presentation.
oh, I definitely agree. WonderCon was one of the biggest ones where,
That's where I came from.
yeah. Oh, you came from WonderCon, huh? How come I didn't remember meeting you there?
I met Matt Gomez. I think he did my demo.
Ah, okay, all right. Yeah, I
And
wasn't
then
demoing at the time. I was just there,
yeah,
just kind of helping out and stuff. But yeah, WonderCon,
Anime
Anime
Expo.
Expo, yeah, Comic Con. These are your non-gaming cons, but it's important, like, to understand that you, the gaming community can grow. It's not just let's steal the War Machine players or let's steal the 40K players or you know what I mean.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think that's the problem that we have with a lot of the gaming events that we do. Like when I go to Strategic Con, I find a lot of guys that play the other games, the other miniatures games, will walk by, but they've already got a set agenda in their head as to what they want to play, what tournaments and events they're going to do. So they're mentally already locked into a time frame.
right.
So they don't have time mentally to say, "Oh, I want to try out this game," which is where we run into the problem with converting established gamers into new systems. Because when
Yeah.
they go to gaming conventions, they're tunnel visioned into what they're going to do for the weekend, and they don't want to waste any of that precious gaming time on a new system.
Yeah. It that conversion happens probably through the game
Through
company
the
itself.
or the stores, I think, is we get better outreach for established gamers in the stores.
Yeah.
When they're between tournaments or they're between events, and they're like, "Oh, what are you guys doing over here with this? You guys don't have enough minis. There's only 5 minis on a table. What are you doing?" So I think that's
All
where
right.
when they realize that they can play a game with 5 miniatures as opposed to 500.
I think we wasted enough time. I wanted to end this
Like an
somehow.
hour, like an hour ago. Any final thoughts?
No, no, no. What? No, what? I had some questions for you. Okay.
Oh,
So, number one, um, what game or games are you looking forward to playing in this year? You know,
and
there's
this
something
year,
new that has caught your eye.
I am actually looking into playing In Her Majesty's Name still, but
Hmm.
the new book, Heroes, Villains, and Fiends, the supplement to that book, has so many new things in it that I've been waiting for. Like they have a whole setup of animals that you can start playing with. You can have wolves and chimpanzees and lions and tigers and bears and elephants. There's rules for elephants in the game now. They've also got rules for swimming. You can give any of your characters the swimming talent so that they can get across a body of water. If they don't have the swim talent, they drown.
Sweet.
So, and they have boats and they have more vehicle rules. So I'm actually looking forward to playing that game. I am looking forward to mastering Anima Tactics because that
Okay.
game has a lot. It's a fun game, but it's got a lot of subtleties to the rules that I can't grasp yet. And I've already played it maybe a dozen times, and I'm still having trouble remembering a lot of those subtleties. So I'm looking forward to mastering that. Um, and as far as new games go, I don't like I kind of like to stumble across them. So there's nothing really new that I'm gonna kind of try and run
Nothing
into.
new on the Kickstarter you're looking forward to? Anything like that?
Uh, well, I did back. I've kind of been a little bit iffy on backing certain Kickstarters because when I interview people and I promote them, I don't want to kind of have that weird ethical dilemma of, I gave them their airtime, should I back it? But I did that with Migration. Um,
Okay.
that's coming through, and I'm hoping to get a hold of that and actually. I'm looking forward to play that. I actually should be getting that in about 3 months, according to his timeline. So I'm looking forward to Migration, which it's an interesting tile building resource game. So
Okay. All right. And conventions. What do you what do you see yourself going to, and what are you looking forward to? Where can
this
people
year,
find Billy Salazar?
you can find me at Strategicon, at
Yeah.
OrcCon, at GameX. I don't know if I'm going to be at the last one they have at the end of the year. Just because of no, I will be at that one actually. What is their third convention called?
Well, I don't know.
It's one of the Strategicon. Go to
Yeah. I don't know.
strategicon.com. You'll find it.
I'm gonna pull.
You'll you'll
Yeah.
find. I had a total brain fart. You'll find it there. I'll be at all the Strategicon events. I'll be at WonderCon. I'm gonna try to get to Anime Expo for 1 or 2 days, but I don't know how my schedule's gonna work out for that. Um, Definitely gonna be at Gaslight Gathering. Be running Boss Monster there.
Okay.
That convention. My wife and I actually went to their first convention together, and that was her first real steampunk convention, and she had a great time there. We had a fun time doing that con. Um, I'm looking forward to getting to Comic Con and doing that again. That is, as much as I hate that convention when I do it, I love just going and recharging my geek
Dude, we
meter.
gotta get that demo of Tante Cure for once, man. I
Yeah.
keep wanting to go over there, and I'm like, but
Well, I'm actually talking to Japanime Games right now, or the Japanime guys, about doing some of their demo videos for some of their games. So
nice. So
that might be
we're
something
gonna
we can
see
do in the
Billy
future.
in a maid's outfit.
It will be amazing.
You'll be
So
so pretty.
yeah, and then Ochre is coming up at the end of the year. I think that's the end of my convention season right there in November. Is Ochre.
Ending it with a bang, are we? Ending it with a bang.
Well, this year is weird. I don't know. Did you notice that this year's kind of weird for conventions? We have these last year and the year before, like the last few years, it was a convention a month. About that I can remember. It was we were doing something every month. At least I was going to a convention a month or two in some cases. And this year March is empty, and then April and May we have conventions twice, back to back. Through
Yeah.
there's 4 conventions in those 2 months, and then in June we have nothing. And then in July we have Anime Expo at the beginning of the year, and then at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month we have Comic Con.
Yep.
And then August has nothing.
Craziest month ever.
Yeah, and then August is empty again. And then in September we have the Strategicon convention. And then we have September that we have that, and then October is empty unless Long Beach Comic Con comes around, and I may or may
No,
not do
you know,
that
I've
convention.
not been to that one. I do want to go to
It's
that.
it's a fun convention. I liked it. It's a nice small con. Definitely worth checking out and hanging out at and not working. But yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's OrcCon or Oker in November, and that's it. Like this year for conventions is pretty stagnant.
Well, for me, that's gonna be a lot. Oh, what's that? What's that noise? There's a noise.
My butt
Uh,
vibrates.
all right, I
Oh,
think
Gateway. It's Gateway, and that's the third strategic con event. It's Gateway.
God,
Ah,
the one I've been to. I didn't even know what it was called. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just go 'cause it's famous. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, next year, my plans are to expand a little bit. I want to do for my channel, personal growth. I want to be able to actually travel up north a little bit and talk to some of these Kickstarter guys and find out where they are a year later with their projects and what they're working on. And I'd like to hit Phoenix Comic Con um, next year as well and work at that convention because that convention just looks phenomenal.
Hmm. I would like to go. Let's see. Like I had already mentioned, Bakersfield Anime is in November, and I would, in all honesty, I would kill for a chance to work with Tin Man, because I'm a big fan of his, and it sounds amazing. Anime in Bakersfield, yeah, I think that's going to be a good one.
That
Uh,
convention actually gets pretty good reviews from what I've read, at least in the local press that they have that covers it.
and hopefully, I want to run a lot of super dun. I've been painting some super dungeon. There she is. She's so beautiful. And um, so hopefully, I think we didn't even talk about what's going to be run. But yeah, you mentioned anima tactics, and I am into anima tactics. But Super Dungeon Explorer, we should expect more from that. So people that do go to these cons, um, if you're interested,
I, especially with the new rule set coming out, that I think will make the replayability so much better. So we
yeah.
should be seeing that definitely.
And I'm also getting into a secret game that I won't tell people. Not yet. Not yet.
Is it that game that involves anim-
No, not that one. No, not the first. No, no. This is a game. All right. Let's put it this way. Imagine if you took all the awesomeness of Space Hulk and then you took away all that GW filth that comes along with Space Hulk, and you put it in World War II and zombies,
Zombies.
and what you have there is that great, plot pie of awesomeness called Incursion. So
Actually,
hopefully I will acquire my set soon.
I'm
And
actually looking forward to playing Drop Zone. That's the game that I've been looking forward to.
yeah, yeah, that genre never does anything for me. But
A
good
paper
luck with
terrain,
that
dude.
one. I am looking forward to Robotech Tactics the most. I think that's where my gamer boner is at right now. Robotech Tactics. Hmm. Aside from that, um, I haven't seen anything on the horizon. I am excited about that new Kickstarter from Soda Pop. Oh, Relic Knights! God, how can I forget that?
Because
Whenever that game launches.
whenever it launches, well, next month.
Is it? I'm ready. I'm ready. Look,
No, no, I made that up. I don't know.
here. I got some Soda Pop all over the place, man. Look at all this. Soda pop. There
All
you
the
go.
soda pop.
So when that launches, I'm gonna be ready for it. Anyways, I think we wasted enough people's times. I don't know if anyone's watching anymore. But if you were watching, thanks for tuning into my very first live show. Um, hopefully, I don't know. I think the format is I want to look for game channels that I think like Billy's that are doing something interesting, something new, or if I just like you as a person. Uh, we can hang out after dark, and you don't have to worry about being, uh, cautious or anything. You can be totally
Appropriate.
uncensored. This is Wargaming After Dark. So thanks for everyone watching, and thanks for your comments. Uh, oh wait, we got Canvas. Canvas wants Rivet Wars. That's a good one. I saw that
I think
at the
Jake
game
back
store.
that, didn't he?
I don't know, but they had a copy of it at my game store over at JJ's, and yeah, those miniatures are amazing. So,
Well,
and oh,
what are you?
Canvas is one of the guys that inspired me because he's one of the guys that just talks mega shit and he just rages, and it's one of the most entertaining things on YouTube. So Canvas, if you're ever free, come hit me up. We'll hang out and we'll talk some shit. And then Rory's on. There's no hard deadline
Hey, Rory.
for what, Rory? I don't know. I don't think you're still watching, are you? What are you guys doing? It's Friday night, fools. Why
They're
aren't you doing stuff?
they're
What's
gamers.
wrong with you? Why are you watching the live show? I don't know. How do we end this? How would you?
Uh, how would I end this?
Yeah.
Final thoughts, guys. Honestly, I have a lot of contempt for guys that aren't sincere about what we do, that take advantage of companies and take advantage of you by wasting your time. So hopefully you guys find some good channels like mine and Paul's and Evan Stars and Viv's channel and all these other guys that are really great out there that actually do things for the community
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
support
yeah,
them.
yeah. I think that's a good way to end. Let's talk about. So yeah. So you mentioned Viv. Viv's an awesome guy. Canvas. That guy's
Yeah,
amazing.
Tin Man
British
is a really great resource especially if you're a War Machine guy.
British Legion. He's amazing. So hopefully, what we want to do is take all these these channels, and we don't ever get to talk to each other really, and maybe that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know. What do you think?
No, and it's true. Like I've started when I do my general channel stuff where I'm not doing a specific interview or something like that. I try and link all my favorite channels on to the specific videos. Um, we're not all tied to each other. None of us are connected. Your channel's not connected to my channel. I'm not connected to anybody else.
Yeah.
We all do our own thing, but I think it's important as a community that we support each other in what we do because I mean, you guys, you do some good stuff. You've been doing videos for a while, and your battle reports are always fun to watch. And you do that conversion that you did with the Endea laser cuttings with his terrain, where you made it more old westy. That was a great video to watch, and those are things that I look out for when I want to promote a channel. Is people that know what they're doing and that understand the community. They're not just trying to promote a convention 500 miles away or a product that they beg to get for free.
Right.
So
So that's your final thoughts. My final thoughts on the whole thing. Um, yeah, I think I pretty much agree with everything you say. Um, just keep it real. Why do you gotta be fake on YouTube, man? Fuck you guys. You guys are parasites. You're fucking not the guys watching. Again, not you guys.
just come at it with sincerity, guys, and you'll be good. And
Yeah.
I respect everybody whose channels I watch. I have some level of respect for you.
Yep.
So
Yep. So yeah, actually, I do want to say that there are a lot of good people out there on YouTube. I don't want to come off as a hater or anything. We're just mainly talking about certain people that are, again, I try to make the distinction between a gamer that has a YouTube channel as opposed to a YouTuber that has a that tries to pretend to be a wargaming. I guess it's just anti-poser is what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say.
I mean, I'm on a budget too, but I'm not gonna just sit there and snipe content.
Oh, the plagiarizer, the great plagiarizer. Yeah. I did have a video where I broke down how to have a successful YouTube channel, but it's a little too evil. I don't want to break it out yet, you know?
What are you gonna wait for? Just as
I need a good catalyst, something to set me off, and then I'll listen. Bam! Here you go. You want to know how? There's 5 steps. I will fucking tell you right now. I'll just end it. I'll end it with the 5 steps to be a successful YouTuber, and you don't even have to be a Vault member to know this shit. All right. Um, Number 1, you suck GW's dick. You get on your knees, and you just gobble them nuts, man. That means you have to have GW content, right? Number
a
2,
lot.
pretend you're an expert. We covered that one. You do that by going to the Googles, reading forums, and then regurgitating that stuff.
Many regurgitations.
Right, right. Number 3, give plenty of shout outs to channels bigger than yours, because then if you suck their dick hard enough, they might come back and give you a reach around.
Well, I was gonna tell you this. This is interesting. Beast of War actually started following me on G Plus because that's where my YouTube stuff gets uploaded to. I don't actually have it linked to anything else.
Uh-huh.
So Beast of War actually started following me on G Plus and my content, which was kind of cool.
You just did rule number 3. What the fuck, man?
I'm getting my lips ready.
Things you're not supposed to do, but
I didn't. No, I didn't follow them. They followed me.
I'm just saying you're doing rule number 3. All right, rule number 4. This one's gonna hurt, but this is the truth. You don't ever buy wargaming shit. Okay, you don't ever do that. You just say you're a wargamer, and people just believe it because you just said it on YouTube.
And you hang out at a store every once in a while.
Right, exactly. But the most important thing, rule number 5, okay? The most important thing to have a successful YouTube channel, and believe me, I've been in the game for a while, I know, alright? Number 5 is you don't actually game or paint. You don't want to spend your time doing that. You have to spend most of your time doing videos, talking about painting, talking about maybe putting an army together. Just because if you think about it, doing the actual hobby takes away your time from doing your YouTube channel. So if you're going to do a YouTube channel about wargaming, you don't do any actual wargaming. And that's it. That's the secret. And no one's watching, so they'll never fucking know. But that's the secret, man. And I think that's how I'll end it.
That's awesome. It's the best ending in the world.
Canvas Incursion is not a Wild West game. It is a Weird War 2 game. So it's Nazi zombies. And they took the Space Hulk rules and they just copied and pasted it. It is exactly Space Hulk without giving GW any money or credit. And it's amazing. So
way to inject reality into our conversation. Damn it, Canvas.
All right, man. Billy, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And
yeah, dude, it was a good time. I'll see you guys on the Golden State Gaming Network.
That's right. Yeah, you can always. I'll go on your channel. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll have you on. I'm gonna actually start a new series on how to alienate the rest of YouTube with your channel. So.
End of show apologies. He plays the applause sound, and then. I missed part of the show. Who's doing the plagiarizing? Okay. Do we answer that one? Who's doing the plagiarizing?
Um, no, we can't talk about it because we don't have the budget.
Oh no, Canvas. It's Grindhouse Games. Grindhouse Games does Incursion. And you should check out the minis. The minis are fucking fantastic. All right. As far as the plagiarizing goes, how about we could? I don't know. I mean, I could.
I think we gave plenty of hints.
Yeah. One day, Tin Man, when we meet, when I go up to Bakersfield, because you're not that far from me. Oh shit! I'm giving away my secret location. Um, I'll break it down for you, man. I'll break it down for you. Yeah, that is the company that does Secret of the Third Reich, Canvas. Uh, and um, and sorry, Roy, if we took an hour and a half. I think it's more like 2 hours now, hour and 50 minutes of his life. So we're gonna end the show with that. All right, thanks for watching. I can't believe you guys were doing that, but thanks for doing that anyways. And thanks for coming on, Billy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no
it.
problem. Anytime.
Quick plug for Billy's channel is it's actually still under, is it Golden State Gaming or is it still Will
It's
Sal's?
it's still under Will Silence because when I changed the name, I lost all the content, so I had to undo what I did. So I haven't figured out how to change the official name yet, but it's under Will Silence. But you can look it up under Golden State Gaming Network. I've started doing all that hashtaggy, whatever, tagline things. So,
It's good stuff, man. Keep it up, and we'll see you on the next Wargaming After Dark. Wait,
peace, guys.
wait a
Now
second.
you,
Did I stop? I don't know if I stopped.
no, we're still on there. You got to end the thing.
Oh shit, son.